probably are spouses that say, oh, why you spend so much on insurance? Why you spend all that money? Get a simple one will do, ma.
But is it worth insuring something that not everybody sees the value in? Only you see the value in it.
You see like art pieces, alright. So some art pieces, you look at art pieces like, hey, walao, this thing can sell for...
I also can draw.
I also can draw. It can sell for 20 million. Hey.
Alright, moving on to the next question. My husband is a nerd, always into collecting stuff like Pokemon cards and whatnot. When our kids was very young, he decided to buy 2 boxes of cards for our kids. One he would keep to sell in the future, one he would let our current son play. Now that our son has grown up, we're trying to fund his university school fees. He tells me he has no money to pay for the school fees. I find out that he has a big portion of his annual income going to pay for insurance of that Pokemon card collection he started 15 years ago. When I asked him about it, he says that when he dies, he will give the collection to our son to sell. It will be worth a lot of money. But now my kid has no school fees to go to university. My husband, red flag or green flag? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Interesting. Okay, Ken. Down the line we have check out on red flag. Kenric on red flag. I'm myself on green flag. We start check out first. Why is it a red flag?
Well, I think you spend so much money on buying insurance for something that might not appreciate in value many years down the line. So we're just hoping that the thing will appreciate. And furthermore, this is not tradable currency in the real world, so to speak. Like for example, you buy gold bar, you buy insurance on your gold bar to keep for your son. Okay, not a problem. Pokemon cards, they keep coming on new stuff every time, but of course people argue, say, every time new stuff come out, the old stuff will get even more valuable. Who knows, right? So I guess from the mom's perspective, she probably will want the dad to have something really solid put in place first, even before paying that kind of insurance on
but you'll be surprised, one Pokemon card can actually be worth a HDB flat. Maybe not say Pokemon card, but a piece of card, tradable cards.
I wish it was, but so far. It is very entitled to think that a child will always get the university funded by the parents. I would say more than averagely common thing in Singapore, but it's not a guaranteed thing. There are an echelon of people in Singapore that don't have. If you want, you have to go and take a loan, you go and fund it yourself. The rationale here is that because I believe the trend of value of whatever he's collecting, it is not emergent. It has always been costed since the beginning when that thing came out. It's like a stock market. You can follow it from day one until now, how much it's worth. In that sense, protecting that where there is more volatility than the eventuality of my son going to university and his ability to pay for it. Which one seems more unpredictable that I need to be insured against? Right? His earning power, or the fact that the thing that I want to pass down to my children, which I think is worth value based on data, might fluctuate. So what he's insuring against is the value of that collection to stay in a certain peg value. So that eventually when he passes on to this, it gets sold, right? There is big amounts of money for him to do so. If he doesn't want the money, he gets to keep a part of his childhood. 15 years, every year you buy one box, only got 30 box. You go and look at the old ones. You remember the time when your dad gave you for a present, hey, your first pair of Pokemon cards. He passed already, you also fondly remember him.
The risk is that because the dad said that he's going to pass to his son, right?
Right.
So whether or not the son knows how to sell, or whether he's selling at the right price or to the right person, that's another question all about. The risk is over there. Correct. You don't know who are you selling to and how much it's worth.
Yeah, but previously we argued that your last will should be your last act on earth of emotion and intention. It should not always be about cold hard cash. Coming from where the father is, right, I think it's a very good lesson. You are now handed a bunch of memorabilia that has value, right? It's a true testament of your character, of what you do with it. You can either keep it for its worth, like how people keep like vinyl collection, all that kind of stuff, right? Or you can sell it. When you need the money to go to university, can you source it? This is just a surplus. It's just me, like, okay, me and you, father and son, we shared a hobby. This is my last will and testament, enjoy it. But the mom is looking at the fact that why you over some Pokemon cards, why you don't want to like let your son have like free and easy life in uni. I feel it's not a very fair comparison.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand so-called the value of collectibles. For example, in the mom's position, she thinks that university education is more worth it compared to a box of cards because she don't know any better, right? I think to a lot of laymen, they probably will not readily buy insurance unless they're really in the know, they're in the market to do so. I mean, that's from their perspective because he does know what he's doing. But ultimately, I think like the parents still want to leave behind something. Whether they want to use it for education or not, there's still some money that's liquid enough for them to, do something that they like.
But is it worth insuring something that not everybody sees the value in? Only you see the value in it.
You see like art pieces, right? So some art pieces, you look at art pieces like, hey, walao, this thing can sell for...
I also can draw.
Yeah, I also can draw. It can sell for 20 million. Hey, why? I mean, there are people who insures them and then they put it for auction, get it managed professionally and all that, right? Like I said, it's hard for us to judge because we're not subject matter expert of that particular collectible. I guess in this case, perhaps the dad knows what he's doing. That's why he's doing that. But definitely it will cause some arguments between the dad and the mom. Say, wow.
If let's say you are the wife, right? Like, what kind of things will you be okay with being insured? Because like art pieces across the world, we all know. We all know it's worth something. Exactly how much, don't know, but more than what I have now. How do you justify to a person that insuring against this weird niche collectible that I have is a good idea? If you are the person who collected, right? You come to think of it, technically both the collection and the son same age.
Yeah.
Right? But my collection cannot earn money on myself. The son can go and work. So if I think about it, paper to paper comparison, this one more like the dependent thing, this one independent really. Is it not how you calculate that?
I think another way to look at it is why people buy insurance because they value their life, they value their health. It has a certain financial impact. The dad probably looks at the collection in the same way. That is as valuable as his life. I said, wow, 我死了不用紧，我的卡不可以有事 kind of mentality. Probably that's what he's trying to do, but it's not easily can be understood by a lot of people.
If let's say we insure common things like art, that's where we draw the line. Like these are the things where everybody accept that there's some value. Anything like your Beanie Babies, your vinyl collection, all this, maybe you might need to consider how you taking an insurance policy on it might affect your family. Is that a thing you have to consider if let's say you're insuring like collectibles or prized possessions like your grandfather's old like BMW? Right? If you have a client comes to be, okay, I have this BMW, damn expensive. But if I take insurance and my wife find out I gonna die, what do you think? Should I take the insurance or not? But if the car pocha, I'm damn sad. What advice do you give to this person?
I mean, you spend half your income on insurance.
All his leisure fund is just to ensure that the collection stays intact and stuff like that.
So like you said, leisure fund, right? We don't talk about collectibles. There are probably spouses that say, oh, why you spend so much on insurance? You can easily take out a term. You can easily take out a cheap health insurance policy. You don't have to go to a more expensive place to get it. Or get a very enhanced package. Why you spend all the money? Get a simple one will do. I think the collection aside, people are also concerned about how much the partner is spending on insurances. Because I guess probably they don't see the value. I'm not sure. I do have conversations like that in the past. Like, why are you spending so much insurance? Not say, I don't believe in insurance, but why spend so much? Then we have to go through a long conversation explaining, when I get sick, I want to stay in A-class ward kind of thing, right?
No, but it's a fair conversation to have because when my friend was explaining this conversation to me, he's on the side of I don't really go uni because my father didn't go uni. He's a businessman, right? So obviously, as a businessman, if you decide to insure your freaking Pokémon collection, right, you're successful enough, you obviously have some information to know that this will succeed. So he's not in that big of a faff, right? And he also agrees to the father that, hey, I can fund my own uni, I just need to go and find a way. I don't need mommy to spoon feed me. Where is a good place to draw the line of what you think should be insured and what shouldn't be insured? Is it based on, how much your income value is or how much the thing is actually worth?
Like, let's say if you were to insure yourself also, we always take into account whereby the person's income and how much liabilities that person has. So I mean, the higher the income, the more value your life is worth. So in a way, your insurance coverage should be high as well. So in terms of talking about all these collectibles as well, I mean, because it's not like fixed, like this item is priced at how much. Then again, it all depends on how the subject matter person price it at that amount.
You want to insure something because you want to have some money to replace the thing if you lose that thing or the thing get destroyed. I think that's the baseline, probably. So for example, a $20 million painting, it get burned in a fire, then the owner will like to receive 20 million back from the insurer. That's why how much I pay for the painting. So my guess, probably that's the baseline for considering how much to insure in a sense. And probably that's what the insurance company might also think that is okay to be insured. Like say, if you say this painting is now worth $1 million, you want to insure for 30 million. I mean, insurance company probably would say, okay lah, if you want to spend the money on the premium, no problem lah, you know, we can still do that for you, right? But I mean, end of the day, their actual department will still have to make an informed decision of how much actually is reasonable to be insured. But I guess for the layman, if I spend $10,000 buying that, I hope to get back $10,000 lah.
A car like Cao BMW that nobody wants, right? No value to you, but your Akong's BMW, worth a lot ma. So then you insure it for what is actually worth to replace an old beat up BMW? Or do you insure it with the emotional price of how much it costs to me?
Now the thing becomes irreplaceable.
Correct. That's why. So now I'm comparing with your child, because your child died, you also damn sad. But the actual person not actually worth a lot if you think about it. It's because it is your child. That's why it's worth that much. So there's an emotional value to what you're insuring. Collectibles, same logic. You can get it. But what if, let's say, there's this one nonsense part, like the steering wheel you can no longer get. You cannot insure it for what you think it's worth, because that will be like a lot, right? Then your premium, you must well every day just buy a new beat up BMW. So
I have a motorbike that has story with me, so that probably would be irreplaceable or can be replaced with a very high price tag, but it's not the same one anymore, right? I mean, for me, it's just a person's life. A loss is lost, man. So there's nothing that money can bring back to me. So not saying that I didn't insure my motorbike. You must insure your motorcycle so they can ride it on the roads, right? So you must insure your motorcycle to a certain extent. But at least for me, things of that kind of emotional value, once it's gone, it's gone.
Right.
Then I think no money can bring it back. So you ask me how much I will spend, probably also based on how much I paid for it and to make it to what it is today, right? So yeah, that would be my baseline to consider insurance for something like that. But beyond that, if I don't insure it for that emotional part,
right,
I think it's still okay in that sense.
So let's say my father give me like one of those like atas wooden table, then after that there's a family heirloom passed down like for 5 generations. Do I also then price it at what it's actually worth to an appraiser, or what I think it's worth because it's in my family?
Price it as much, I think, as you can afford, I guess. Because some things the insurer may not be able to derive value, so your premiums will get very expensive because they simply cannot price it. They have to make it worth their while somehow, when the thing happens. So I guess like in all cases, when you buy insurance, you make sure that it's affordable to you. It doesn't affect your current lifestyle standard. It's meant to insure for the unexpected. I think that would be a fair gauge of how much we should spend.
For those people who actually have weird collectibles that they want to insure, from what we've gleaned today, if it's something that only has history with you, cost price. If it has unimaginable, lineage that you need to protect, then it's something within your actual budget. But never ever insure it for what you emotionally think it's worth, because you can never afford it. I think that's a very interesting insight, because this is a very good, I would say, guideline and yardstick to have if, let's say, you have collectibles / heirlooms or prized possessions that you want to insure. Then the only person that depends on me is who? My dog. What? Then I insure myself. Then when I die, what? Give the dog. The dog take the money for what? Right. So
I think she should be caring for herself first,
right,
before buying insurance for the dog.
Right.
Because the dog is not going to pay her medical bills.
Exactly right.